Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a video that I've been waiting so long to do and I'm so excited to finally do it, and that is the 10 names I love but will not be using. Tag, I think it's a tag, I'm not really sure, but I'm doing it anyway even though I wasn't tagged. But I have been waiting to do this and I didn't want to do it too soon before we finally decided on names, which we finally did. We still don't know whether we're having a girl or a boy. We find out in 2 weeks. So we finally sat down and decided either or whatever we're gonna have for the names of a boy and a girl, so I can finally do this tag. So I'm gonna get right into it. I have a list here on my phone of the 10 names and I'm going to be going back and forth between girl and boy. And I just want to make a disclaimer first before I start, and that is that a lot of the reasons that these names were not picked, which you'll see, was honestly because I had more suggestions than Ray had. Ray, my fiance, had like no suggestions. He was very, very picky, which you kind of have to be, I guess, obviously, and I was actually really picky too, but like he couldn't pick them out for himself per se, like nothing was good enough for him, which I get. So I had my own list and we kind of went over them together, and that's how we decided on the names, which I'm not going to disclose yet. I will disclose it the day that I post my gender reveal video, probably. But anyway, let's get right into it. So the first name is a girl name, and the name is Scarlet. Scarlet, first of all, old-fashioned female names are like my favorite. I think they're beautiful. I love that, you know, they're very rare nowadays. They seem to be just kind of making a comeback, but it's still, I feel like a lot of like the modern day, like new age names are really kind of out there, and I like having some names come back rather than like these brand new names. I don't know, I really love the old-fashioned names. But the reason we won't be using Scarlet is actually because it was a toss-up between the name that we did pick for a baby girl and Scarlet, and we kind of decided that maybe our next girl, if there is a next girl, will be Scarlet, just because we couldn't pick between the one or the other, but the one we did pick has a specific reason why we picked it, so that was gonna come before Scarlet. So name number 2 for a boy, first name for a boy, is the name Sebastian. I absolutely adore this name. Ray absolutely hates this name. I do have to admit the one reason that I didn't like it so much was because I am a stickler on having nicknames for when you pick a name. I want there to be like a shortening of the name, and there's not really a shortening I can think of for Sebastian. I mean, if anyone has any idea, let me know in the comments below. Not that we're ever going to be naming our child this because Ray hates it. I actually got the idea from the movie Cruel Intentions, one of my all-time favorite movies. Brian Felipe, need I say more? So the next girl name I had picked out that we will not be using is Loretta. I have loved the name Loretta for, I'm not gonna say a very long time. I don't know, it kind of just came to me. It wasn't like a name that I looked online and saw and was like, oh, I really like that. It was kind of just, I was thinking of old-fashioned names and I thought of Loretta and I really, really loved it. Plus I really liked the idea of a nickname being Lo, and any other Laguna Beach and the Hills fans out there, you get where I'm coming from. I always wondered what her real name was, and though I don't know if it's Loretta, I thought it was cute and short for Loretta. But Ray did not like the name because I guess it was somebody's name on the Cleveland show. I don't watch the show, I don't know, and he kept saying it in the funny accent from the show, and the more he said it, the more I was really turned off to it. But I still love the name, but unfortunately we will not be using it. So the next name I have is a boy name again, and it is Benjamin. I love the name Benjamin. Number one, because I do have an Italian background and Ray has not an Italian background. So because of that, I was trying to think of some Italian kind of names because I really do love Italian names, but it doesn't really flow with Ray's last name because his last name is not Italian. So, but Benjamin kind of had like an Italian flow to it just because I thought of like a nickname Benny. I'm not really big on Ben. I'm sure it would end up happening anyway, but I love the nickname Benny. I just think it's adorable, and the name Benjamin I absolutely adore. Ray was on the fence about this one. This is actually one that we might have almost picked. He was gonna chew on it for a little bit. He didn't hate the name, but he liked the name that we picked better. So I don't know, maybe it'll be a future baby name? I don't know. Okay, the next name was a girl name, and it's Madeleine. Again, with the old-fashioned names. I adored the idea of her nickname being Maddie, and Madeleine to me just sounds so like ritzy and fancy and just very, a very classic, beautiful name. And this was another name that Ray kind of liked here and there. Looking at it was nice, but he wasn't so sure if it was like a name that he'd want for his baby girl. So that one pretty much just came down to that's a name that Ray kind of nixed right off the bat. So the next name, it could be a boy or a girl's name, but I would have wanted it for a boy, and that's Jamie. I personally, for my entire life, always said, and I even said like while we were planning to get pregnant, that I did not want a unisex name, just because I don't like the fact of it being like a guess whether it's a boy or a girl. But at the same time, there's something about Jamie, and I like it so much better for a boy, and it wouldn't be short for James or anything, which is another thing. There's not really any shortening for Jamie, but Jamie's kind of short as it is. This is actually a name that I didn't even run by Ray, but I'm pretty sure if it were up to him, and he wouldn't like it. It's just not really his kind of name. He likes the real, like, I don't know, like the boy names that he was looking at was a lot of like Greek god names, which was too much for me. Ray is Greek, so, but a lot of the other names are very kind of like masculine names, and Jamie just isn't a really masculine name, let's be honest. Not to offend anybody, it just wasn't in Ray's taste. Okay, so the next name is a girl name, and it is Scarlet. Now, first of all, I have loved the name Scarlet for a long time. It was definitely not an idea that I had for a baby girl's name. Actually, a YouTuber that I follow like religiously, her daughter was absolutely gorgeous. I think she's around 4 years old now. Her name is Scarlet. So number one, I didn't want it to seem like I was kind of like, I don't know, like jacking her baby's name. But also more importantly, I didn't want to pick that name was because one of my very good friends has had it as like a life set plan to name one of her daughters Scarlet, and me being a friend who knows that, I wasn't going to go ahead and just, if I happen to have a girl, name my baby Scarlet, and then like it would be like I kind of took that from her. So I wasn't going to do that. I adore the name. It was definitely one of my top choices if it were to be a choice of mine. Ray liked it as well, but we both agreed that it just wouldn't really be the right thing to do as a friend. Okay, the next name's a boy name, and it is Weston. This name, Ray didn't really give me kind of an answer on whether or not he liked it. I think he liked it that it was kind of like a rustic kind of name, a little bit of a redneck name, because it was a toss-up between Weston and Wesley for me, because I just loved the nickname Wes. But Weston definitely was more suitable for Ray's taste, so I kind of tried that one out, and it just wasn't really one that, I don't know, there's not really any specific reason why we didn't pick it. It just wasn't chosen over the one that we did choose. But that is definitely a name that I would love to maybe use in the future. Between Benjamin and Weston, they're probably like my two next favorite boys' names in line from the one that we did choose. Okay, the next name is a girl's name, and another old-fashioned girl's name, and it is Amelia. Ray absolutely despised this name. It just wasn't in his taste at all. Again, just that old-fashioned kind of sounding name just isn't his thing. But at the same time, for myself as well, again, it was a name that I could not think of a shortening for. And Amelia is beautiful, but it's just kind of long, and the fact that it doesn't have a shortening really bothers me. It really is like a criteria I look for when picking a child's name. I don't know, it's just something I can't really look past. It's such a beautiful name, but unfortunately it probably won't ever end up being one of our children's names. Okay, and the 10th and final name is a boy's name, and it is a name that I actually saw somebody list, a woman on YouTube who's pregnant. She listed it in her 10 names that she wasn't choosing tag video thing, and that is Lennon. I never thought of this name. I never would have been so creative to think of it. I do love the Beatles, so it would definitely be a tribute to John Lennon. But it's very unique, and I think it's very, I don't know, just cool. Like I love that name Lennon, but again, I love the idea of the name, but the idea of it being my child's name, not really sure I could picture a Lennon Frederick. No, I'm not really feeling it. That was also a name that I didn't run by Ray at all, because at the point that I had noticed that name, we had already picked a boy's name, so it was kind of just like for future reference, write it down because it's kind of cute name. And yeah, probably won't be a name that we ever choose, but it's definitely a really unique and really cool kind of name for a little boy. And that's it. That's all 10 of the names that I love, but I will not be using for this baby. So like I was saying before, we find out the gender in just a little less than 2 weeks, February 26th, it is a Sunday, we're having our gender reveal party. So if you are interested in finding out what the gender is as soon as possible, be sure to follow me on Instagram. The link is below in the description box. I will be making a video following the party, of course with editing and what have you. It won't be up right away, but it will be up as soon as I can get it up. But the first official announcement will be on my private Facebook account, which no one unless you're my personal life will see, but it will very shortly after be on my Instagram, which is public for everyone to see. So if you're interested in finding out as soon as we find out basically, then be sure to follow me below on my Instagram. And I'm really excited. I've been doing so much planning and I have so many ideas to make this so much just fun and joyous and awesome, and I can't wait. I can't wait to finally have an identity for the baby and just not call it anymore. And since we have names, it makes it all the more exciting, because as soon as we find out it has an official identity and we can refer to it as a name and not a he or a she or an it, and I'm so excited for that. So I can't wait to spill the beans and let everybody know the names. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in continuing to follow our journey, please make sure to subscribe. And if you want to get notified when I do post a video, you can hit that little bell next to the subscription button. I'm not sure what side it's on here. It's on one of these. But yes, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.